Hello, everyone. My name is Mirta Kuštan. I am assistant at University of Zagreb Law School at Criminal Procedural Law Department. And today I will talk about specialties of criminal and administrative investigations, interoperability between those procedures in Croatia. So regarding contents of this presentation, I will refer in short on criminal and administrative proceedings in Croatia, and then I will explain which other investigative bodies exist in our legal system, other than police and state attorney. So, as we all know, the purpose of criminal proceedings is to determine in the manner prescribed by law whether a criminal offense has been committed and who committed it, and then apply a punishment or other appropriate measure. On the other hand, in administrative proceedings, state administration bodies and legal entities with public authorities decide on the rights and obligations and legal interests of citizens and other entities in certain administrative matters. In most cases, Croatian criminal proceedings are initiated by state attorney ex officio, and a state attorney is the master of preliminary proceedings and combines the functions of prosecution and investigation. Criminal inquiries are performed by police officers outside of the criminal proceedings and mostly in informal manner. Afterwards, if state attorney considers that there are grounds for suspicion that a certain person has committed a criminal offense that is prosecuted ex officio, he is obliged to undertake criminal prosecution and to conduct an investigation for criminal offenses punishable by a long-term imprisonment. Also, if investigation shall be conducted for criminal offenses punishable by imprisonment for term exceeding 5 years, unless the results of actions related to criminal offense and the perpetrator provide sufficient grounds for the indictment. Moving on to the administrative proceedings, there are 3 ways to start administrative proceedings. At the request of party, proceedings are generally initiated to grant a specific right, while ex officio proceedings are generally initiated to impose obligation on the parties. And procedure is initiated by a public announcement when the parties are unknown or if such procedure is prescribed by law. The bodies before which administrative proceedings are conducted are diverse, from central state administration bodies to competent bodies at local level. And the type of body depends on the nature of administrative matter. In administrative proceedings, as evidences, there are certain documents, witnesses, experts, also inspection or party statements. It is also important to mention that with respect to existence of criminal act and criminal liability of the perpetrator, the administrative body conducting the procedure is bound by a final judgment of criminal court. And also, the procedure must be terminated when the preliminary question relates to existence of criminal act, and there is a possibility of criminal prosecution by competent judicial body, or if such procedure is already ongoing. So here you can see the list of other investigative bodies and special investigations that I will talk about, which includes Sector for Financial Investigations, Anti-Fraud Coordination Service, AFCOS, Air, Maritime and Railway Traffic Accident Investigation, the Head of Administrative Investigation in Maritime Accidents, State Audit Office, and State Inspectorate. And also I will refer to 2 examples of independent forensic examinations, research and expertise providing bodies. So starting with Independent Sector for Financial Investigation, it was set up within the Tax Administration Central Office Its jurisdiction is over all taxpayers in Republic of Croatia. ISFI performs financial investigations in cases where there are serious indications of organized crime, corruptive criminal offenses, and criminal offenses of subsidy fraud against European Union funds. Moreover, analysis of complex international transactions are organized within the special office. This is a separate team of investigators specialized for investigations of sophisticated, complex international transactions and monitoring operations of foreign business entities in Republic of Croatia. This body also analyzes possible illegal outflow of Croatian taxpayer assets abroad. So the role and the main task of this sector is to detect and investigate persons with high risk, indicating organized crime, corruptive criminal offenses, and criminal offenses of subsidy frauds. The next task is to provide support to all criminal prosecution authorities and intelligence agency in a form of financial analysis and investigations. And also, this body tries to encourage taxpayers to voluntarily meet their tax obligations. So here you can also see the bodies that are set up within the sector of financial investigations. The financial investigations include inquiries and actions to find and identify illegally acquired property, money laundering, and other property against which security measures should be taken in order to confiscate the proceeds of crime and collect the equivalent. Financial investigation is undertaken in connection with criminal proceedings of criminal offenses that generate illegal property or organized crime when it's necessary to search for such illegal property. Also in connection with suspicious financial transactions and activities, economic crime, tracking money, money laundering, for example, when it's necessary to process a suspicion transaction notification. The financial investigation, or more precisely, the financial inquiries, are conducted at the same time as criminal inquiries or after. And while the aim of conducting regular investigation is to detect criminal offenses and perpetrators and collect evidence that enables the submission of an investigation request or indictment, the aim of parallel financial investigation is to confiscate the proceeds of crime. The activities of financial investigation, here you can see them, and they include checks of records of tax administration, custom administration, land books, banks, central depository agency, and so on. So now AFCOS. AFCOS is so-called Croatian OLAF, through which direct cooperation with European Anti-Fraud Office is ensured. And basic task is the protection of financial interest of European Union in Republic of Croatia and establishing a system to combat irregularities and fraud, for which it can propose legislative and other measures. AFCOS assists and coordinates OLAF's investigations, forwards information received from OLAF to all competent authorities, and submits annual reports on work and irregularities observed. The AFCOS network includes representatives of Ministry of Justice, Ministry of Interior, Ministry of Finance, where most important is Service for Combating Irregularities and Fraud, which I will talk in the next slide about. Then Ministry of Economy, State Attorney's Office, and Agency for the Audit of European Union Programs Implementation System. So the Service for Combating Irregularities and Fraud is organizational unit for supervision of irregularities and fraud set up within the Ministry of Finance. And this is main contact point for OLAF in Republic of Croatia. As a main contact point, This organizational unit ensures that OLAF inspections are carried out in the territory of Republic of Croatia. It receives and controls reports on irregularities and sends them to OLAF, and coordinates legislative, administrative, and operating activities between bodies in the AFCOS system. This service is also responsible for receiving and checking reports on irregularities, develops training programs, and monitors the recovery of illegally disbursed EU funds. So now we can see criminal offenses related to the use of EU funds, subsidy fraud, business fraud, abuse in the public procurement procedure, tax or custom evasion, illegal favoritism, and other corruption offenses. Now, Air, Maritime, and Railway Traffic Accident Investigation Agency. This is an independent body for the investigation of accidents in air, sea, and rail transport. These safety investigations are conducted autonomously with the aim of determining the causes of accident and issuing safety recommendations. Activities of this agency include investigations of serious aircraft accidents, safety investigations for the purpose of determining the cause of maritime accident, and proposing measures to avoid maritime accidents and improve navigation safety. And also research into serious railway accidents and emergencies. Also, this agency exchanges data from its database with other investigative bodies and provides professional assistance to competent investigative bodies of Republic of Croatia. Administrative investigation of a maritime accident is carried out independently of before mentioned safety investigation of maritime accident. This investigation is carried out when there are bases for suspicion of committing a maritime misdemeanor in connection with the events of maritime accident. The head of administrative investigation is appointed by a port captain of the local competent port authorities, and only an official who performs the task of inspection supervision and navigation safety, and who is qualified to conduct investigation of maritime accident can be appointed. It is important to mention that if a competent state authority initiates criminal prosecution for criminal offenses which also include a maritime misdemeanor related to some sort of maritime accident, administrative investigation is not carried out or stops. In that case, the state attorney shall be provided with all evidence and data collected so far on maritime accident. The investigation of maritime accident ends with the issuance of misdemeanor warrant, the filing of an indictment, or a decision not to initiate misdemeanor prosecution. The work of State Audit Office is focused on auditing financial statements and business operation and improving the legality and effectiveness of entities managing public property and other legal entities defined by law. Moreover, it contributes to improving management of public property and other available resources and informs Croatian Parliament, government, and citizens of Republic of Croatia about the manner and results of management of budgetary, extra budgetary, and other funds given to the audited parties for management and disposal. The office also has jurisdiction to audit the European Union funds and other international organizations or institutions for funding public needs. It is important to mention that its operations are independently and autonomously conducted. The State Inspectorate performs inspections related to the supervision of operations and the implementation of regulations on trade goods, labor and safety at work, mining, pressure vessels, fresh water, hunting, forest seeds, tourism activities, and so on. the state inspectorate also performs inspection tests in other administrative areas when determined by a special law. And here we can see that there are many different types of inspectors: economic, labor, electric power inspector, mining, and so on. In the end, I would like to mention two examples of independent forensic examination, research, and expertise providing body, which are of great deal of importance to public and private sector investigations. Firstly, there is INSIG2. It's a company specialized for integrated security solutions and digital forensic solutions and services. Since 2004, INSIG2 has been providing services for law enforcement authorities, defense authorities, legal bodies, banking institutions, pharmacy, public health institutions, and many more. Secondly, Forensic Science Center Ivan Vučetić. This is independent organizational unit that performs completely independent forensic examination research and expertise, such as identification, chemical, physical, toxicological, contact, technical, digital records, and so on and so on. And it does so by the order of State Attorney Office, court and police, and on the basis of agreement with other bodies. The center is responsible for the national DNA database, as well as the national fingerprint database, and collection of bullets and castings from unsolved national criminal cases. And the center has close cooperation with various scientific institutions, such as veterinary faculty, faculty of science, police academy, faculty department for forensic science, and many more. To finish up this presentation, I would like to state a few important things. Often, individual violations, offenses, misdemeanors are covered by various regulations and laws, which leads to the possibility of undertaking various investigations. And the questions are raised about the use of evidence and knowledge gathered in one type of investigation, in different type of investigations and proceedings. And this is particularly problematic, in criminal proceedings. So, documentary evidence gathered in administrative investigation can always be used. But on the other hand, testimonial evidence cannot be used in criminal proceedings because of the protection of human rights and ensuring the right of defense, but also ensuring the fair trial in which fair tribunal directly examines the evidence. Just shortly about the simultaneous investigations, as I already stated, investigations of AFCOS and financial investigations are conducted at the same time as criminal inquiries or after, and have a purpose also in criminal proceedings. On the other hand, administrative investigation of a maritime accident has to be terminated if a state attorney initiates criminal prosecution. The important question is also the one on the ne bis in idem. But as we are limited in time, and I'll have to leave that for some other occasion where there will be more time to research into this problem and talk about in depth. So I will now, given that the time is limited, stop. Thank you everyone for the attention.